Hello. We finally got some Toppling Goliath brewing dropped off in Boston for the first time ever, and I snatched up lots of goodies. So I have PseudoSue, their flagship single hop Citra Pale Ale here. This one I've had, I guess, like a year and a half ago, but it was the version that was contract brewed by some place in Florida, and it wasn't that great. It was still pretty good, but it's been 2.5 years since I've actually had the Decorah, Iowa brewed PseudoSue, as it says on there, or Decorah. I don't know how you pronounce it. And I really liked it 2.5 years ago when I had it. But it seemed to drop off pretty quickly. These cans are really fresh. It's 17 days old, 6.2% alcohol, and I'm expecting some pretty good things from it. But I've had a lot of great IPAs and pale ales in the last 2.5 years. And I also chose to use a humble pint glass here, or slightly smaller than a pint glass, because it's just a pale ale, and it turns out this one was a very dirty glass. Wow. But oh my gosh, the aroma is really good. So much head. I poured it a little hard, and this glass, as you can see, has these bubbles in it because it was not perfectly cleaned. I think I'm gonna get a new microfiber sponge that can really get into all those, I guess not nooks and crannies, but just gets all the bits of oil off of your glasses really well. But this one is not super duper hazy, but I think it's hazier than it was 2.5 years ago. And that citra aroma is just fantastic. It's a pretty big citra aroma too. You might be able to hear my cat scratching his cat box over there. That's what that is, just so you know. But it's really big on that candy, cotton candy, bubblegum, almost purple drink citra aroma, passion fruit. Just the most sweet, succulent, ripe sort of tropical fruits in here. Really peachy, mango-y, all that stuff. And the head's sticking around really well. It's really thick, it's soapy. Their beers just seem to always be perfectly carbonated, packaged, all that stuff. And finally, the head is dying down a little bit, so you can get a look at it. I don't have the best lighting right now, so you can't see but it would have a golden glow if it had a little bit more lighting on it. Before a pretty inexpensive, just regular old pale ale, this has a really nice big aroma. Yes, I like that. But we'll see if it's kind of sweet. Gets a little spicy with some very clean resinous qualities, but it is rather sweet, I guess I would say. That's why they call it a pale ale, not an IPA. It doesn't have a pungent bitterness, and since it's not super duper hazy, it doesn't have a chalkiness. But what I really like about these beers is that they finish so clean. There isn't a bunch of, I don't know, weird yeasty qualities, too many yeast esters. There isn't a sharp bite from a whole bunch of added sulfates and stuff. It finishes really easy and clean, almost like a Sierra Nevada beer, but they definitely aren't using Sierra Nevada yeast. There's definitely more going on here that's bringing out the extra fruity qualities of the citra, and the head is nice and rocky. There isn't much body to it, I guess. Whereas, like Fort Point Pale Ale, kind of comparable to this Trillium Citra Pale Ale, is a little stronger and has a lot more sediment, so you get a lot fuller body. This doesn't have that juicy, luscious, creamy body that you expect from a lot of New England IPAs, but of course this isn't one, and they've been doing this beer for a long time. I know well over 5 years. I'm not sure when they started doing it. And it reminds me a lot of what it was like when I had it 2.5 years ago. And I also noticed actual malt, real barley flavor, not just cracker or honey that sort of thing. Maybe it was a little bit of a Cheerios type thing going on, but it actually tastes like barley and has a little bit of a smell of actual, mashing grains and malted barley, and I like that in my beers too, because I love Trillium, but their beers just I never even really noticed much of a specific malt taste to them. It's never actually smells like barley to me. It's transformed so much, but this has a little added complexity because it has that actual barley aroma. And in the taste, it's probably a little bit more in the taste. And I notice a little bit more with each sip. It finishes with that grainy barley flavor, and now I'm getting a little bit of a slightly bitter but super juicy grapefruit bitterness and quality in the finish that is very nice. A lot of people would say this beer is like crushable, I guess, and you can definitely down a whole glass before you even lose a finger of head. Even though this glass was dirty, and with many other beers, a dirty glass would kill that head really quickly. It would use up all the carbonation, and the oils would dissolve and kill that head. But this is really well made, and I don't know. I don't think I would say that it's over carbonated. Let's see what happens when I pour some more in there. Head still looks really nice. There isn't really much sediment. A few tiny little particulates, but yeah, it's not crazy carbonated or anything like that. Because sometimes I've had the New England style beers where I think they try to amp up the head and especially the aroma by over-carboning the beer, and then it has too much of a spritzery sort of mouthfeel. And this one doesn't have that. It just has lots of great aroma and really great head retention. And I love that beer. 4.5, easy. It's up there with some of Hill Farmstead's simpler pale ales, I would say. Maybe it doesn't have the body and intensity that those do, but it's now extremely easy to get all over the country. I was just in Southern California and they had it, so it's basically on opposite sides of the country and also smack dab kind of in the middle in Iowa. And if they're able to make that much beer at this quality, Toppling Goliath is very, very impressive to me. And I have PseudoSue to review very soon. Got one bottle of that, and also their Mosaic IPA Pompeii, so I'll be doing more Toppling Goliath reviews. Still never had any of their stouts though. I think those are the ones that are still going to be impossible to get for a few more years. But highly recommend anyone picking this up. People who like your New England style IPAs, but it is going to have. It's going to remind you of some, more old-fashioned pale ales too. It's not going to be super all sweet and juicy. I don't see how anyone couldn't enjoy this beer. So 4.5+ for this one, I would give it. Goodbye.